Well, morning, fellow zombies. Are we alive yet? Are we awake yet? I sure as hell am, because I'm emotionally screwed up and sleep deprived, as usual. Yeah, it's the 26th of October, 2025. Time index right now. Still 2:48 in the morning for a dark log to do. Oh, zombs, what's up? So, closer and closer it gets to the deadline of November. We're going to be starving like crazy, according to what people have been saying about SNAP benefits. Even if Congress got off its dead ass, and that means both sides of the chamber, and that also means the fucking Republicans, decide to grace us with their presence in order to get the budget of the CR worked on and sent in. The benefits for the month of November are screwed. They're screwed. What's it mean to a lot of us on disability? That we used to depend upon food stamps a great deal. It means we're going to be mismanaging our money to the point where we can't even feed ourselves, get the damn bills or anything else, right? That's why I always had to be careful every month. I had to be careful of every damn dime I was going to be spending on there and keeping a track in my head. Now, I said it before and I said it again. I was never good at math. At least I kept telling myself that anyway. I was no certifiable genius, I was damn sure. And I don't know if I've carried over some of my mother's genes or her skill sets that she had. She developed them a long time ago. She was pretty smart concerning about mathematics. It's not a professor on it, but how to become a bookkeeper, income tax specialist, accountant controller. She was proud of it. I was always a dreamer, trying to write up and create up stuff, but I just never quite got it off the ground. My brother was the labor guy, right? But somewhere in that head, he was also smart too. He just didn't bother to use it as much, or didn't harp on it. He was street smart. We had our own various levels of intelligence somewhere in there. If they were still alive, walking around breathing, and hadn't got cut down, I know this department would have been a hell of a lot different. Cleaned up a lot more efficiently. I wouldn't be having the roaches as much. And if we had to get out, I'd be forced on it. You know? I'm held back by emotional chains, so I'm stuck here. Or maybe other kind of chains as well. But when it comes down for managing the money every month, that's the thing Mama kept harping on me and Dave left and right. Dave wasn't keeping track of anything, except for the stuff that we needed and we didn't have the money for, so we had to keep borrowing left and right. I'm in a situation where I'm doing the rent, I'm doing the bills, I still have a few bucks left. That has to be spread about for a month, either 30 or 31 days or 28 days if necessary. And to me, I had to keep it up, the practice. Whatever you brought forward, and practice was like this. Whatever you had was bringing over to the new month. Welcome to Accounting 101. So you got the balance from each month brought over to see how much you got per month. When you get your monthly allotment, you got your balance from last month, they add it up, and you're like, okay. Or like, oh, son of a sea dog. But whatever it is, feel grateful that you actually had a balance left over from last month to carry into this month. And once you got it, now what do? Then you look at your columns concerning about what you got to spend for that month. how much of it you got to conserve. And that's what we have to keep worrying on. See, this is the kind of stuff that Congress and Trump and his mental lunatics, they don't get it. They haven't been put in those kind of situations where you have to balance things out. Sometimes you have to live on ramen and spam, or at least noodles and spam and cheese if you can afford it, or happen to get around it. And you have to survive on it. And everything else has to be accounted for. How much you're going to be putting into a laundry basket, how much you're going to be putting into a machine, and how much of that's going to be costing you. That's even expensive as hell. Of course, you live in a lap of luxury. You can afford fresh, clean clothing every month. I'm not talking about just going to a laundromat. I'm talking about buying this shit. Before the tire. If I can get my mouth to work right. Before tariffs kicked in, and we were still getting stuff on the cheap, I was trying to stockpile on some stuff. Clothing would be it. New pair of shoes, shirts, pants, socks. Get the basics. You don't get the fancy unless you really want to be fancy or something like that. Now for the rest of us, sometimes it means life and death. Other times we have to look at spending and see how much we can wear out our clothes each month. Save a little bit here and there from the grocer, actually from the laundry. It does cost, in our machines that we have, $1.50, $2 for a wash. And then there's like for each hour, it's like $1.50 on that one. I mean, sometimes I can spend about $5 each laundry cycle. One big, huge machine to do the drying for everything. Even if it means colored and whites have to toss them together, and not to mention the pants, I'll do it. If it saves a few bucks. Of course, things are not going to be the greatest. So to put it on the reality here, and the truth on this one here, I hadn't done laundry in over a year. Or just about anyway. Changed the machines at the beginning of the year, so I can't figure this shit out. So I've been scraping up what I could, buying a package of cheap ass socks that fit the feet, and shorts, and then pants, and then t-shirts, the cheapest I could get online. And then stretch them out each month, literally. So I still have a few pairs clean still. And a lot of stuff that still needs to be worked on in the laundry. But these are the choices I'm making for my own lifestyle. Nobody else is. I've gotten some more clean clothes coming through. And they're pretty pricey now. They used to be cheap, now they're not. If I happen to get any clean pairs of sweatpants again, they're going to be 10, 20% more than what I'm paying for last year, or even before the tariffs kicked in. I had to make sure I had to get a little bit of a supply going on for that. I got a fresh pair of shoes. It's been over a year in a box, but waiting in case I wear out mine. I haven't gone outside in a long while to wear them out. Usually I would. In about 6 months, they'd be dead. They'd be holy. They'd be worn away. There'd be rub spots on my skin because I put my feet in there so many damn times. But I'm doing that while taking care of my dog. Walk up and down, walk up and down, walk up and down. But I haven't gone outside to do that kind of situation. Welcome to my world. If I was still heading back to the campus, I'd kill off my shoes every 6 months. So every new semester, a new pair of shoes has to be. Keep the old ones just in case we have an emergency situation, because you'll never know. So I'm dealing with that. As I'm dealing with my dog as she's sleeping, thank God. Took her long enough to get back to sleep. As for the food situation, missed the opportunity of going over to the food bank. I'm not going to stress. I looked at what I got. I can last it up until next month. Now, as for the rest of the stuff I'm going to be dealing with, I don't know. Because I got to stretch every month I've got right now. Every day I've got to stretch it out. But this is the reasons why in my damn head I've got to figure this shit out all the damn time. I always have to keep some kind of weird ass checkbook system. I said before concerning about my counting. If I've got stuff coming through one month to the other month, adds up to the new month, then I got something to work with. Then I can ease up on the bills when I can. And see how much I can stretch it out for the food. 30 to 31 days. Sometimes I figure out about this amount, this amount for this amount to this amount. And calculators work. As it gets closer to the end of the month, usually about a week or two or less, I start to keep more and more accurate records just to keep track what I'm spending and to see if I've got enough for maybe like a whoopee, I can get to spend a little bit more money for something else. Then I'm looking at it and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Back to normal again. Screw that noise. There'll be some days when I can actually afford two pieces, actually two cheap, I don't know. Two chickens. And then maybe a bag of hamburger if I'm lucky. Hamburger patties. There are ways of making use of the hamburger patties almost as bad as using them as a regular roll. May not be effective, but they still work. As long as I get the things cut up and used, I can throw them in the recipes. That's no problem. One burger can feed my dog 2 or 3 meals. Get her enough rice for it, either regular or... This is what kills the budget right there. Minute rice. Quick, easy, and I have to use as sparingly as I can with her. But she's eating sparingly anyway these days, so it stretches out. As I said before about the chickens, the weirdest thing about the chickens right now in the market I go to, so to speak, the rotisserie is more expensive than the whole raw chicken. I go where the budget's going. Take off the skin. There's no spicing to it. Traditional usually doesn't have that much spicing on it anyway, so I can't detect the flavor. And I'm also letting my nose tell me whether or not if it's going to be flavorful for a human, which means it's deadly for a dog. If it's going to be that bland for her, then cool. She don't get skin. She just gets the meat underneath. And so far, it's been holding her together. Feed her some rice. She's got solid bowel movements. If you get her too much oil or grease from it, then I'm dealing with stuff I have to keep cleaning up off the floor. Take her out when I can. When I can. But she's so blind, I'm having a hard time trying to keep her going. Things I have to keep worrying about. Things I have to keep talking about. Things I have to keep putting on a record. If I get the 2 chickens this month, I'll be able to afford $20 for that one. I can stretch it out for maybe 5, 6, 7 meals if I'm lucky. Hamburger patties, about 3 or 4 days if I'm lucky. Give me enough rice and noodles, or even ramen. I know people can make recipes out of ramens. I've seen it happen. Doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that my own palate's going to be able to deal with it, but it should. Especially if I'm dealing with the chicken, I'll take pieces of it, chop it up fine enough, sow some onions, throw it into a pot of water with the ramen noodle and the flavoring, and make a soup out of it. If I had some leftover, if I saved any leftover frozen vegetables, there'll be a decent soup for it. Or not. If I had saved enough money and I'd gotten some teriyaki or soy sauce, then what I have right there is, I don't know, ramen noodles with stuff in it. I have to think about these things. Am I worried about November? Because November is the month that we always have to worry about Thanksgiving. We'll talk about that in the next video, I guess.